Solve x minus 8 root x plus 15 equals 0. I'm going to rewrite this down below so we have a little bit more space to work with it. And again, this is not a quadratic equation, but it is an equation in quadratic form, which means it's an equation that we can change into a quadratic equation, and then we can make a substitution to solve. So if we want this to be a quadratic equation, we need it to be in the form something squared minus 8 times that same thing plus 15 equals 0. And so we need to figure out what to put in parentheses. And what happens is we need something that we can square to get x. So what can we square to get x? And the answer is the square root of x. Because the square root of something is exactly what we can square to get that something. So if we put the square root of x in each of these parentheses, the new equation matches the original one, and this tells us that the substitution we need to make is we need to let z be the square root of x. When we make that substitution, this gives us z squared minus 8z plus 15 equals 0. And now we have something that we can solve easily by factoring. When we factor this, we end up with z minus 5 times z minus 3 equals 0, because negative 5 times negative 3 is 15, and negative 5 plus negative 3 is negative 8. Now, applying the zero factor property gives us z minus 5 equals 0, or z minus 3 equals 0. And solving for z gives us z equals 5, or z equals 3. But we don't need to solve for z in the end, we need to solve for x, because our original equation had an x in it. So wherever we see a z here, we're going to substitute back in the square root of x. So this becomes the square root of x equals 5, or the square root of x equals 3. And when we have an equation that we're trying to solve and the variable's inside the square root, we can square both sides. When we square the left-hand side, the squaring cancels out with the square rooting, and we're left with x. And on the right-hand side, 5 squared is 25. So we have x equals 25, or over here we can square both sides. Squaring the square root of x gives us x, and 3 squared is 9. So here we have two solutions, x equals 25 or x equals 9, and that's the final answer.